Wake up, wake up. It is Friday, June the 12th, 2026. Welcome to Wake Up. Wake up.
Thank you so much for being here. Hit like and subscribe. Larry, what I like an awful lot about our audience is when we miss a wake up. We couldn't do one on Monday. You were in at the radio station, so we couldn't put it together. People get panicky. Where's wake up? Is everything okay? Did you and Larry is there a falling? Did you cancel the show? What did everything's good. It's great to be back. Thanks so much. We are doing today. I know we're going to do Monday, Friday next week as well, Larry. And then after that, I'm going to be in the woods for a week. So there is going to be a full week here at the end of June without a wake up. Just figured we should start bracing everyone for that.
We're both going to take some summer vacations. We're going to do a little summer vacation. You're going to do a little summer vacation. So we won't hit every wake up, but if we miss, we will pick it right
there
back.
There will be no days off. Hey, thanks everyone for being here. We are brought to you by PrizePicks. Damon Bruce Plus, I'm very proud to say, Larry, is now brought to you as well by Snap.ai, which is an unbelievable tool that you can use to beat Las Vegas. Go to TrySnap, that's with 2 P's, TrySnap.ai. Use promo code Damon Bruce free, and you will get a month of free professional services from Snap. And they go over and look through games, and you can ask it questions and interact with it in a way where it really does become your best sports friend through AI. It's something else. We are officially 6-2 in our Snap decisions of the day. We took a loss yesterday because Michael Waka couldn't find the strike zone. But either way, we're off to a great start. We got the World Cup obviously getting underway tonight for Team USA. There could be a play over there or two. If you want to ask Snap about it, you just go right ahead and you do that. So thanks to everyone for being here. Thank you for checking out our sponsors. And Larry, I know you have more to say about that yourself.
Well, yeah, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krueger Show. Check them out, Emeryville, Corte Madera, soon to open in Petaluma, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Pig and a Pickle. Also, the Krueger Show and the Plus presented by PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app. PrizePicks is super simple. You just pick more or less on player stats or even game outcomes, build your lineup. It's available in most states, including California. So if you haven't checked it out yet, use code HMA. When you play $5, you get $50 in lineups instantly. And also thank you to our other sponsors, Alomar Marina. AlomarMarina.net is going to bring you Greg Cosell on the Krug Show this year. Check them out. Float while you dine on the Sacramento River.
By the way, I don't mean to interrupt. Huge get, Larry. Huge get. I think Greg Cosell is the most state-of-the-art film analyst in the business. And for him to be a twice monthly guest on the Krug Show is an awesome get. I'm so happy for you. I'm proud of you, buddy. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you, man. And we have more to announce than that. There's more coming besides that, but thank you to AlomarMarina.net. Fantastic spot to go have lunch. You can float while you dine. They're at 5999 Garden Highway up in Sacramento. So thank you to them. And also thank you to Novato Chevrolet, my good friends at Novato Chevrolet. Owner Gus is a personal friend. They do great stuff there. Voted top car dealership by Carfax, family owned, friendly staff, all that stuff. Bay Area EV headquarters. When I buy a Chevrolet, I buy it from Novato Chevrolet. And now let's get to the show.
So, do the 49ers have an advantage that we probably haven't been thinking much about? And the reason why is because you got to sort of look through the reads of prognostications to figure, like, what do they really? But if you start thinking about it and you start talking it out loud, it sort of comes into focus. Niners Noise, the fantastic website Niners Noise, asked the question, is this the best backfield in the NFC West? Now, I know that you and I have been talking about a ever-expanding passing game with a better wide receiver room, and I do think that this is the year that the 49ers are going to throw the ball, maybe more than we've seen in the past couple of years because they're just going to have a better ability to do so. But when you look at their backfield and when you look at Shanahan's just conservative nature of wanting to run the ball, like all good football coaches. You want to control the game, you want to control the clock, and you do that with an offensive line and a running game. The 49ers obviously have Christian McCaffrey. Who he is at this point in his career, I'll even join anyone who is suspect on that out on your limb of suspicion. Like, who knows what we're going to see from Christian McCaffrey. But if it's a Christian McCaffrey that I expect him to still be one of the most effective and dangerous weapons in all of football. You couple that with Jordan James and Kalen Black, two very much unknown entities, but we're very high on. I see a very, very interesting running back room, and that's just the first three guys. Look at Seattle. Seattle's lost Kenneth Walker. He's been replaced by rookie Jadarian Price. He's still got Zach Charbonnet, and George Holani is there taking first-team snaps. So I don't know if that's any indication on Jadarian Price, but Seattle lost its best running back. The 49ers did not do that. The Rams have Kyron Williams and Blake Corum and Ronnie Rivers. I do like Corum, and I know you do too, Krug. Kyron Williams is also a very good and effective back, but I think that the 49ers could do better than that. And the Cardinals, God bless them, they took Jeremiah Love. And all we're going to do is wish Jeremiah Love the very best of luck on a bad football team to begin his career. Let's see what he is. He is not going to have a lot of help around him. No one even knows who his quarterback is going to be. But Jeremiah Love is certainly an interesting prospect for sure. He's just buried under the suck that is the Arizona Cardinals. So, Larry, as you kind of thumbnail sketch the running back rooms in the West, what do you think? Is it too much to say the 49ers might actually have the best running back room?
Well, nothing goes as planned. That's just kind of the way of the world. And, we know that Christian McCaffrey, the last time he had, this many touches, played like 3 games the next year. So, I'm not sure what the Niners can expect to get out of Christian McCaffrey. He had 450 plus touches last year, and he's getting up there in age. He can't have more than a year or two left, I would imagine, at top tier productivity. So I'm not really sure what to say. I personally think that there's a very good chance that Kalen Black is going to be the guy in the Niners backfield. Now I know that's heresy because McCaffrey's McCaffrey, but 400 touches is 400 touches. And, it's like Shanahan, McCaffrey, everybody within earshot of a microphone was trying to tell you and everybody else that it ain't the same this year. It's not going to be the same because you don't put that kind of wear and tear. It's like driving your car cross country and then asking it to be reliable. Well, you put a lot of miles on it and it's only got so much before it goes. So I personally think that the 49ers are going to have a different looking backfield this year because I think they're going to throw it to their backs. I think you're going to see Black and James and obviously CMC be very valuable kind of dump off backs, in the flat and safety valves. But I personally kind of think that, based on what I've seen, Black is ready to do it. And I think he's going to be the guy who gets a huge amount of run this year because he can block. He's got power in his legs. He can run. He can catch. He's got speed. I think if there was one thing that kind of caught me by surprise at the minicamp, it was the speed of Kalen Black. I know he can block. I know he's got strong legs. I know he's powerful and can power through there. I know he's a good short yardage back. I know he can carry the pile. But I wasn't sure. His gait is a little, he's got shorter legs and it's like it's not the most beautiful running style I've ever seen. But you know what? The guy freaking has courage and he hits that hole so damn hard. And there had to be at least 3 or 4 runs in the mini camp where you're just sitting there going, wait a second. That was a different speed than what we've seen here. So he's going to be really special
guy too in mini camp and what you've seen where guys aren't, they're at most in shells. They're not hitting hard. They're not really playing football yet. They're just sort of doing, high intensity walkthroughs.
But speed is speed. Speed is speed. And you can see speed.
He won't be able to show you his power of moving a pile until you've got 6 other guys trying to tackle him. And that's when he's just going to keep on going. Like normal men would fall already, but there he is with 2, 3, 4 more steps because he's just that powerful. I'm very excited about him. He did so much for my Hoosiers. The fact that he's going to come and I think do so much for the 49ers just really, really excites me. Jordan James, though, is someone who still very much excites me. We hardly got to know him last year. We didn't see him until the curtain had fallen in Seattle, and he got some garbage time touches. He looked good in his garbage time touches. I thought he almost made Shanahan look bad. He looked so good in his garbage time touches. Why haven't we seen this guy? Why wasn't he used to take a little of the load off Christian McCaffrey throughout the year? I do think that both of these guys will start as McCaffrey alternates. And then maybe around mid-season prove enough, and I hope they do this, prove enough to where they are the real-time Christian McCaffrey, not replacements, but insurance policies to make sure that McCaffrey is exactly where you need him end of December into January. That's when Christian McCaffrey
they gotta abort the plan. The plan last year sucked. The plan was we'll run Christian, and then we'll run Christian, and then we're gonna run Christian, and then when he's done, we'll figure out who's next.
But we're probably just kind of running Christian.
That kind of game plan isn't going to work, and I don't think it's going to be the plan this year. I think the plan this year is you're going to see James, you're going to see Black, you're going to see CMC, and you're going to see them scattered throughout. You know, the one thing about James is there's a lot of people. You know, I think why didn't he play last year? Because he wasn't healthy. He wasn't healthy, and he got healthy at the end of the year, and then finally he showed a little something in that last game. But I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical on Jordan James. Now, these Oregon players, they're all, you know, fast and talented and all this stuff. But, you know, it's like there's a lot of them that just kind of peter out. Well, Michael James was awesome at Oregon. He hasn't done anything. But the Niners are hoping that this guy's more Bucky Irving.
When you got a Super Bowl on the line, that's how you want to give a ball to, Larry.
But I mean, Bucky Irving was shared time with Jordan James, and I think the Niners are hoping that he can give. You know, Bucky Irving's been awesome. He's been a really, really good back. Jordan James actually has a little bit more size than Bucky Irving. Neither are big time speedsters, or at least James isn't. But James showed in the minicamp that, you know, he's got really good hands. He's really compact and powerful. And if you dump it to him in the flat, he's fast. He's faster with the ball in his hands than he is running a 40. He looks explosive when the ball's in his hands, but he doesn't time for the stopwatch. So it's going to be, that one's going to be interesting. It's like, I think we're going to see all three backs really from the first game. But what is Jordan James? Is he reliable? Can he run between the tackles? Is he just a receiver? He's got the ideal skill set as far as hands. He's got the ideal body type as far as squatty and powerful. Now the question is, can he play? And I have no idea if he can play because he hasn't done it, but we'll find out this summer.
We got Kevin who asks or says CMC sounded like he thinks rest is for the weak. Well, let me tell you, during Super Bowl week, when I was talking to his dad, Phil McCaffrey, and I brought up the fact that it was Shannon.
No, it's not Phil.
No, excuse me. Ed McCaffrey.
Ed McCaffrey.
Ed McCaffrey. I was looking at it. I think I just saw the name Phil over here. But Ed McCaffrey basically looked at me like I was speaking another language when I talked about how, you know, Shanahan was like addicted to using his son. And he was like, no, Christian feels better at the end of this year than he's felt in years. And you can see his off-season workouts where the guy's like doing army crawls all over his own backyard. I mean, he is constantly working out. The guy's in spectacular shape, but there is a wear and tear that, you know, a human body playing running back can only take so much of, and there are diminishing returns. So,
well, first of all, he had a terrible year. I mean, why don't we talk about that for a second? He had 5 games where he averaged under 3 yards a carry. He had 12 games where he averaged under 4 yards a carry. They were one of the least efficient running teams in the history of Kyle Shanahan as the head coach. So it wasn't like, nothing's wrong, everything's great. No, he had some great individual numbers last year, but the efficiency wasn't there, and the 49ers run game, if they're going to win the Super Bowl, is going to have to be a whole lot more efficient and more consistent than it was last year.
Well, look, there's no doubt it was a down year for his rushing average, but I think that had so much more to do with the offensive line and his ability. Across the board, the Niners were down on explosive plays. That's an offensive line stat, I think, more than it is any one individual stat.
I don't know about that because Brian Robinson had much better efficiency numbers than CMC. So how do you explain that? They're running behind the same line.
It's amazing how he didn't do enough, though, for Kyle Shanahan for a millisecond to think this is my better option.
CMC went for 3.9 a carry. B-Rob went for 4.3 a carry. That they were really the only guys who ran it. I mean, you had Sky Moore had 17 carries, but he's a receiver. Demarcus Robinson got some carries. But yeah, I mean, it was basically 311 carries for CMC, 92 for B-Rob. But yeah, 3.9 a carry. So, I mean, it's just like they're going to have to block it better, but it's really more. It's a team. The whole thing's a team stat. The 49ers had no blocking on the perimeter. They had no vertical downfield threat. Nobody was afraid of them down the field. They were terrible in explosives, 22nd in the NFL.
You could just crowd the line. You could just crowd the line on the 49ers. You could. They weren't a threatening offense last year. So I think that they eagle-eyed McCaffrey, sent the entire team at him, and he didn't have a very good offensive line in front of him. How about this?
It's the same line he's got this year.
I don't think so. I think Dominic Pooney's going to be better, and I think there's going to be an upgrade at left guard.
It's the same guys, basically. It's 4 out of 5 of the same guys. You still have Brendel. You still have.
Well, now we're back to what they should have done in the draft, and they didn't take my advice, so I can only deal with what we're looking at. Yeah, I mean, I would have improved the offensive line more than they did. I would have gotten a center that mattered more than they did. But that advice is lost into the wind now, Larry. I don't want to just go over old ground.
But we can't pretend that the same line that was thoroughly mediocre at best is somehow better because they're a year older. They're not. They're not better. Connor Colby might be an improvement, but everybody else is not better.
Then they're in trouble.
Well, we'll find out. We're going to find out. But there's no reason. There's no logic. I mean, I like to use logic. If you're older, are you better? No. So I'm not going to make you better just because I want you to be better.
I think Dominic Pooney's better year, just him having a better year, will make this offensive line better.
Okay. But you also have Trent getting older. He's old. You have Brendel getting older. He's old. You have Connor Colby starting at left guard possibly, and we'll see what he is. I mean, I'm hopeful, but it's like you can't bank on that. So I mean, there's just they've got a lot of questions as far as can they run the ball efficiently? Can they protect their quarterback? I mean, is their line good enough? I mean, we know that they got some future offensive linemen, but how's that going to help you in Australia
against Myles Garrett? Sporticus says applying a pitch count to running backs. Nolan Ryan rolls his eyes again. Let great athletes play. Well, it's pretty obvious that Kyle Shanahan shares that thought. But I do think that Christian McCaffrey does need a little bit of a pitch count when it comes to how much he's going to be used in the regular season. He is the single most important creator of offense that this team has had in the Shanahan regime. He is the skeleton key that has unlocked it all. And without him, this team changes dramatically. So every Niner fan better be hoping that, concerns about McCaffrey getting old overnight are unfounded. Larry might be right. Maybe the jig is up and McCaffrey will be even worse this year and he's 2.2 a carry and it's a disaster. If that's going to happen, well, then shit. Let's talk about trading Nick Bosa and now you're talking about a whole new window. Now the team is completely different. So there are some things that the Niners have basically installed into their own plan as this better damn happen, and Christian McCaffrey is one of them.
Here is a Warren Sharp stat. Plays that gained 25 plus yards last year. Detroit had the most with 51. Okay, then Super Bowl champions are right there, 45. New England, who lost the Super Bowl, right there at 45. The Rams right there at 46. Okay, where are the Niners? Niners.
They're like right in the middle.
29th. They have 29. I don't know if that's the middle. It doesn't look like the middle to me. That's the top. That's the bottom. They're down here. They're 29. They're 29. 29 plays that gained 25 plus yards last year. The teams that were worse than them: Miami, New Orleans, Cleveland, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Jets. So, I mean, but basically what the Niners need more than anything is they need explosive plays. Explosive plays. I think they got a pretty good quarterback. I think now with Mike Evans, they got a pretty good red zone monster receiver. I think they got a pretty good play caller, but they're not going to get in the red zone if they can't have the explosive plays. And that's last year, for the first time in the history of the NFL, the team that won the turnover battle that wasn't the biggest precursor to victory. It was actually whoever won the explosives ratio in between the two teams. If is
that league wide? That's a league wide stat.
61%. Wow. 61% of the teams in the NFL last year that won the explosives ratio. In other words, you had 10 explosives in the game. You gave up 9 on defense. You're +1 for explosive ratio, if that makes sense. Yeah. So explosive ratio, the number of explosive plays that you generated on offense versus the number of explosive plays that you gave up on defense, that's the ratio. The teams that won that ratio won 61% of the time. The teams that won the turnover battle last year won 57% of the time. So it's actually become the in vogue thing, which I think has a lot to do with why Kyle Shanahan basically just traded out his entire wide receiver core and why they added like 5 different guys that run in the 4-3s, because the Niners are looking for explosives. And Kalen Black, I think, is a big part of that as well.
Oh, God. Somebody said there's a new Brandon Aiyuk Instagram point, IG. Maybe we'll get to that a little bit later. I've had it up to here with Brandon Aiyuk. I totally see what the Niners feel in this guy now. But
we'll see if Coach Yak puts it out on his X account. We'll see if we can pirate it.
We'll see. Yeah. I'm not following Brandon Aiyuk on Instagram, and I think my life is better for it.
Brandon Aiyuk posted photos of himself on Instagram. His location is in Washington, D.C. How could you cross me? Well, I'll just share the screen. You can see it. Here it is, the latest from this guy. And this guy's a drama monster at this point because this is all he's got. It's all he's got. He can't do anything besides this. He can't play, so he's got to talk.
Dude, he's a 14-year-old teenage girl twirling the phone cord, hoping that someone calls. It's desperate.
What's he? I can't even make out what we're looking at here. I mean, is he wearing a hat? No. What's he? He's in a sweatsuit, a velour sweatsuit. Is he standing next to a car? What is he doing in that picture on the left?
He's in a car. It looks like he's in like some car dealership or some garage with nice roof lighting.
Oh, I got you. Anyway, Brandon Aiyuk posted photos of himself on Instagram. His location is DC. How could you cross me, BA?
Who's crossing him? I mean, I really don't understand where his grief is when the 49ers, I had Tim Kawakami on with me yesterday. We had a great conversation. He said, the really crazy thing about all this is that normally when things go wrong with the player, it's over money they didn't get, not money that they did get.
Who lectures an NFL team for paying them too much money when you're looking for an NFL team right now that's going to pay you gobs and gobs of money? I mean, the level of idiocy here is just off the charts. It would be like if you're like, this radio station, they're such morons. They signed me to a 3-year deal and they paid me X amount of dollars in the first 6 months. They're such morons. They're such idiots. By the way, I hope they release me. And by the way, if you're a radio station out there, give me a call. I'd love to come work for you.
Seriously, yeah, I'm really interested in the next opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you're just like, dude, you're not all there. It's like have you been hit too many times? I don't know what's going on there.
He thinks that this league is waiting for him, or that this league will have some sort of ratings problem without him. He believes he is essential to football success. And there isn't a team that really is meeting him halfway and saying you're essential to our football team's success, much less the sport of football's success. He has been surrounded by bad advice. He has obviously been insulated by a group of yes men. Anybody who used to tug on his cape or call out his bullshit has basically been cut off, and TJ Hushmanzada has said as much. How about this? It doesn't end well. Like, can we all agree on that? Whatever Brandon Aiyuk's end might be, it just doesn't look like it's going to end well for him. So if I were him, I would shut the hell up, and I would have. If I were his agent, I would delete his Instagram account. If I were his wife, I would take the phone out of his hand. If I were anyone around him who loved him, I would just sit down and say, let's talk about how we get jobs in life. No matter who you are, no matter what profession you work in, you don't do it like this. You don't exit a job like that. You don't look for your next job like that and insist that you're being professional, behaving like this.
Well, let me just say this too. I mean, and this is advice for everybody listening. Whatever field you're in, we're in media. We were in radio. I'm still in radio. We're in YouTube now, and we're in sports media. But whatever you're in, maybe you're a doctor. You work for a doctor's office. Maybe you're a dentist. Maybe you're a construction worker. Maybe you're a lawyer. Maybe just remember this. The world is small. It's not that big. It's small. And the same people that you see on the way up are the same people you see on the way down. And treat people the way you want to be treated, and have a level of decorum at all times, and try to control yourself in bad situations. We've all been there where it's like there's some program director who's since been fired 3 times who said, you know what? We're going to have to let you go. And it's like, bro, you're going to have to let me go. They're going to have to let your fucking ass go, And yeah, but you know what? You bite your lip. You bite your lip, and you don't say that, because you're a pro, and you look the guy in the eye and you have confidence, and you say, you know what? Good luck to you guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm sure we'll see each other down the road. And then guess what? I'm on my 3rd stint at a radio station that I first came to in 1997. Last I checked, it's 2026, and I'm still working for that radio station. What does that tell you? They've let me go a couple times, but you know what? I bit my lip. I didn't, like a fucking moron, start swearing at them and you did what? No.
I hate you guys.
Idiots do that. And those people go and they never come back. If you just don't break, I've had people treat me really badly, but you know what? I didn't lash out. I did not lash out. And I still have those people as friends. I've had, they're still work friends. There's, what I mean? So it's like, it's just one of those things. It's like, it feels good to flip the bird and get all pissed, but, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not burn your bridges, because life is long and whatever field you're choosing is small. And I guarantee you, you're going to need some of those people that you're about to tell off because it feels good. Don't. Have discipline. Don't tell them off. And it will be the best move that you made long term. By the way, you can send me a check in the mail if it works for you. That's
Uncle
good
Larry's
advice,
Uncle Larry's advice, P.O. Box.
That's the best advice I could give you. My dad taught me that. My late father taught me that. He's like, look, be a pro. You're a pro going in. You're a pro going out. Be somebody that they wish they had. Don't be a guy that they wish they never see again. And, I took that to heart. I think I bit my lip at the right time, and I've had multiple stints at this radio station, and I'm going to be on today at 10 a.m. So, it's like, it's one of those things where you just got to be, you got to have a little bit of Alex Smith to you. You got to have a little bit of mental maturity. Because the shit doesn't always go your way in life. Look at Alex Smith, man. He didn't piss on Kaepernick. He never told any stories about, I should have started the Super Bowl. If I had started the Super Bowl, we wouldn't have fucking died on 1st and goal on the 5. You know what I mean? He didn't do any of that. He could have done all. In today's world, there would have been a million different people that would have been like, Alex, you got a gripe? Come over here. Say it on my platform.
There is nobody who could have, had a legitimate axe to grind about the situation he was in, the situation he fell into, the situation he couldn't get out of, the Kaepernick, the Harbaugh, the injury, the I'm healthy again, still not come. He had legitimate football reasons to be angry at the 49ers, and I am sure he was. But you didn't hear the podcast. You didn't see the players only journal where he nuked everyone in the decisions and said you deserve to lose that Super Bowl without me. Nothing even close.
He supported Kaepernick. Then he goes to Kansas City. He supported Mahomes when it was clear that Mahomes was going to take over for him. So Alex is special, and there's mental maturity, and Aiyuk is demonstrating none of it.
It's a bad place to be operating from, devoid of mental maturity this deep into your career. That's not good. That's how careers end. Again, I don't think Brandon Aiyuk's biggest problem playing football again is even knee related anymore. It's upstairs. And his reputation. Let's talk, Larry, since you said you're on the air and like 20 minutes from right now, you got to get going.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a man whose mental maturity will never be questioned, and his leadership is, it's phenomenal. Fred Warner. Fred Warner was talking about the 3-headed monster that he thinks he's about to play in front of. And what's great is that he wasn't even talking about Osa Odigizua, who he also thinks is going to come in and just wreck shop, especially around these guys. But Fred Warner was talking about Alfred Collins, CJ West, and Michael Williams, last year's rookie defensive line, who certainly didn't get any good PR because everyone just looked at sack numbers and said, you all suck. And at sacking the quarterback, they did. They were historically bad at it. But when it came to stopping the run, they got better as the year went along. And when Michael Williams exited the equation, we saw the equation get worse. That's how impactful he was. Fred Warner is not in the business of empty platitudes, of compliments that don't really exist. And he knows real football players when he sees them because he's one himself. And for him to be talking about the sophomore 3-headed monster that the 49ers have on their defensive line, all I can tell you, Larry, is if he is right, do you realize how many problems just have been solved? If all 3 of these guys take significant step forwards into year 2, West, Collins, and Williams, the 49ers' huge weakness last year becoming a strength without having to take that extra step of adding a Joey Bosa, of calling up Von Miller's agent and see if he still wants another go. If those guys get business handled, we're not going to have a season full of, do you think they're going to call the Raiders about Max Crosby? Do you think they're going to trade for Max Crosby? Should they trade Max Crosby? Are you ready for Max Crosby? Max Crosby. I'm already tired of it. It's going to happen. If those guys do their job, we won't have to go through any of that this upcoming year.
I don't agree at all. I don't agree with that at all. None of these guys can rush the passer at all.
Well, that's okay. So
Mikel Williams does not rush the passer. Alfred Collins does not rush the passer. CJ West does not rush the passer. They're all going to be better. And if you look at the Niners defensive line across the board, one exercise we used to do with the Cardinals is we would go and just look at our roster at this point in the year and just say, how many guys is the arrow pointing down? In other words, they played their best ball. Like Nick Bosa, for example, even though he's a really good player, the arrow's pointing down. He's not getting better. He's getting worse, but he should be. Then there's the guys that are just, staying the same. And then there's the guys you're, getting better. And there's no question, Damon, you just hit it. Williams, Collins, West, and there's a few other guys. They're getting better. And the biggest improvement is year 1 to year 2. So I think there's reason to believe those guys can be healthier, smarter, better, with a little bit more pass rush, but none of them are real pass rushers. I think it's two different games, really. I think we're talking about, rush the passer versus play the run. I think the Niners have 3/4 of an awesome run line there. And Bosa's really good against the run. So it's just a really good defensive front against the run. And I understand what Fred's talking about, because Fred needs to be covered up. And when the Niners D-line wasn't very good, suddenly get the O lineman climb to that second level and pick him off, and pick off Dre or anybody else. So you don't want that. You don't want your fast linebackers having to contend with these guards on the second level. So you need your defensive front to absorb that offensive line. And I think they're going to do a great job of that. So I think from Fred's perspective, he's going to love those 3 guys up front. But I don't think it's related in any way to Crosby or Joey or Jadeveon or Vaughn or any of the guys that they potentially can get. The 49ers edge rush last year was horrible, historically horrible. And now you've got Bosa, a year older, coming off an ACL. You got Mikel, who had 1 sack, coming off an ACL, and he may not be ready to go at the start. Sam Aquinu is a great supplemental piece, but he's just that. Keon White has got some talent, but he's more of a tackle, and he was shot in the ankle. Then you've got the new group, and Cam Sample, believe it or not, looks pretty damn good. He's 265, 275. He's strong. He has some great reps. Romello Height looks really special. Really special. And I actually personally feel like your guy, Mikhail Kamara, looks special. And Nick said as much when he was naming guys that impressed him. So they have some pass rushers, but that clearly, to me, is the one thing left to do. And you got a really young secondary, and I just really think that they need another edge rusher.
Well, I'll tell you,
they don't have a lot of they're not. Where are the sacks going? Let's just count the sacks.
Now would be the right week to call Joey Bosa and be like, "Hey, man, we're not even going to have mandatory OTAs. Like, you get another week. We want you to come on in, but you're not going to have to go through OTAs with us because we canceled them because of the World Cup."
They're talking about
the Rams just did.
They're talking about Alex Highsmith. That was the rumor this week.
Yeah.
I think that's a great rumor. Why? A great name for the Niners, because I personally kind of feel that if you get Highsmith, you're going to get Joey, because Joey wants to win the Super Bowl. So he wants to go to a great team. So he's going to wait until the 11th hour and go to a great team. And hopefully that team is the Niners. But I actually think Highsmith, who's in his prime and had 44 pressures last year, the Niners leading pressure guy had 27. So they basically, he had double the Niners' best pressure guy last year. So if you can get Highsmith for what I think is maybe a 4th or a 5th round pick, why would it be so low? Because they're paying TJ Watt a ton, and they just signed Nick Herbig to a $100 million extension. And there's been rumors for weeks that they want to offload Highsmith because he's got a cap figure this year of $17.7 million. So I think you're kind of helping them out. To me, a 4th or a 5th round pick, and maybe a conditional pick in the following draft, something like that could happen. I think it makes perfect sense. I think the Niners ought to do it, because I think if Joey sees that Highsmith is there, now Joey's going to want to be a Niner that much more. And I also think that drives the price down, which is what is going to make it work for the Niners. They don't want to pay $12 million a year for Joey. They want to pay less. And if they have Highsmith, they're probably going to pay less.
Hey, I would add, these guys are ready. They haven't. So they obviously have a belief that what they've got is somewhere close to the concept of being enough. To hear Fred Warner speak so glowingly about a sophomore defensive line, that to me is good news.
I think they're hedging. Did you see the Albert Breer story?
No, I don't know.
Breer yesterday came out and said that the Niners shouldn't go for Max Crosby right now, but they maybe should go for Max Crosby at the trade deadline. And his
Let's see how
idea
the year unfolds. I mean,
his thought is just that they may not
be.
not be the team that they think they are. I mean, they got so many older players. If the Niners are 6-1 and riding high, and all they need is a little bit more pass rush, then pull the trigger. But don't pull the trigger right now, because what if you get into camp and all your older players are kind of done and you go 1-5 to start, and now all of a sudden you've got to rebuild and you've given away your picks for Myles Garrett or for Max Crosby. So I do think I agree with that. I do think that if I'd be interested in Crosby, but not today. Maybe in October.
I don't think Mark Davis will allow his new front office to do to Max Crosby what was just done this offseason already. I think that he's too important of a piece. I think that the Raiders are actually coming into focus on being a legitimate football program again. So I just don't think they're going to be trading Max Crosby. I think that ship sailed. And I don't want a year of rumors about it. I don't. How about this?
I don't think it really matters what you want, because you're getting it. There's going to be lots of I mean, heck, you go to Niners Nation right now. NFL Insider shares when a Max Crosby 49er trade could take place. So if the Raiders start off poorly and Crosby starts off hot, if the Niners start off hot, you're going to hear a lot more about it.
Let's do it. How about that? When all that happens, then we can talk about it. I don't think we need to talk about it on Friday, June 12th. Welcome to Wake Up, everyone. It's great to have you here. We only have a few more minutes before Larry hops over to the radio. How about the world that we're living in here now, Larry, where the NFL officially has a $500 million player, and a lot of that money was certainly earned by beating the Niners in a couple of Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes, a extension this year on his current deal that now is a 10-year, $450 million. No, it was a 10-year, $450 million contract that he signed. 3 Lombardi trophies later, he has just inked a brand new extension to bring his deal up to $504.75 million. That keeps him in Kansas City through 2033. His annual average $64 million a year salary puts him on top of that mountain again as the highest average salary guy in football. I remember Patrick Mahomes signed that original 10-year, $450 million deal. Everybody held their breath. Within 2 seasons, he's like the 8th best paid quarterback, because that's how quick business works in this league. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs, coming off of his statistical worst year, at which the end of it, he tore his knee up, decided, hey, man, we don't care about any of that. You're our guy. You're our guy through 2033. Here's more money than what Lamar Hunt would have paid for the franchise about, 25 years ago.
He's a great player. And, once again, I sat down with Alex Smith on the Krueger show. People should go check that out, because we had a part of the conversation was, when Alex kind of knew his rookie year that Mahomes wasn't just good, but that he was special. And a lot of times, if you're special or not, has to do more with how hard you work and how dedicated you are, not necessarily about your height or your arm strength or your foot speed.
What did he say was the moment where he actually thought to himself, object in rearview mirror is closer?
He just said that basically, Alex started the whole year. Mahomes started that last game. He said in that last game, it was a vanilla thing. It was at the end of the year. They were just playing out the string. They were going to the playoffs, but he still, with a vanilla scheme, just looked amazing. But he said it was really more about his attitude and approach to wanting to improve and get every rep that he could and learn as much as he could and be that sponge. And just, he had a great, attitude about learning, and he was just so determined to be great. And that level of determination, according to Alex, is a big part of why Mahomes has, become Mahomes. But I'll make another prediction, though. It's really hard to win in the NFL. And Mahomes and the Chiefs made it look easy. And I bet you they still think it's relatively easy. And my prediction is he'll never win another ring, and he'll get close. There'll be situations it won't quite ever come together. And then he'll finally realize at the end how special what they had going really was. They were on top of the football world, and they still are going to compete.
They were the football version of the Golden State Warriors for a minute.
They were on top. They were on top, and they were on top, and they were on top early. So I just think that he's gonna, he has his rings. What does he have? 3 rings? 2 rings?
3 rings.
3 rings. 3 rings out of 5, right?
5 Super Bowl appearances in 6 seasons, which is the first team in NFL history to even do that. Go to 5 out of 6.
It's amazing.
And then 3 Lombardi trophies. Imagine if he even got one more already.
I mean, I really think that he's going to get shut out. I just think that Reed's older, Spags is older, Taub is older. They've lost a lot. Veach has made some bad picks. They've made some bad decisions. This contract is not going to make them better. This contract is
a huge part of his success, and I don't think Travis Kelce is going to be a huge part of any football success from here on out. He'll be good.
No, here's the other thing. They listen to Mahomes. Don't listen to your players when it comes to the draft. That's the number one mistake you can make. Players are players. They don't know the talent. They are talent, but doesn't mean they know the talent. For every Jerry West, there's 15 guys that played and can't pick their nose. And they listen to Mahomes, and Mahomes was like, get me Xavier Worthy. Well, how's that working out? He's fast. He'll make a highlight play here or there, but is Xavier Worthy ever going to be one of the 5 best receivers in pro football? No. So stop listening to Mahomes. Stop listening to Kelce. Don't listen to your players. Celebrate your players. Believe in your players. Just don't believe in them when they're in their personnel evaluations. That's not their job. That's not what they do. That's not where their specialty lies. I kind of think that Mahomes is going to, it looked super easy early, and it's going to look super hard late. And I just think it's going to be one of those things where he never gets another one, and he's going to talk about it at the end of his career. Man, I thought I was going to have 4, 5, 6, and we just couldn't get it done. So I that's how I kind of see Kansas City. I mean, how much longer do you think the Spags, Reed, Taub, this is probably the oldest triumvirate of coordinators in the league. How much longer do you think that trio goes?
2 years beyond this upcoming season. It's a 3-year window, feels like.
Okay, that sounds about right. And then do we think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl? I mean, the Chiefs are not one of the favorites this year, I don't believe.
No. How about this? I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them be a stalking horse all season long. I'm not ready to count them out yet. I'm not ready to join you on Mahomes will never win another. I will say that there's probably not 2 more coming, maybe 1 more, but it's a finite window. If it doesn't happen in the next couple of seasons, then we can get into you're on the other side of the mountaintop for sure. By the way, I know we're not going to actually make a play here because, Larry, you got to get going soon. We got some supers to get into. Let me thank PrizePicks once again and remind everyone, whether you're making bets on the NBA Finals, on player props, doing a little baseball because you think the math works for you over there. And by the way, Snap.ai will tell you there's a lot of baseball math that can work for you over there, and that's what Snap AI is great at. But PrizePicks is fantastic. Use code HMA. Get 50 instantly when you play $5. You can sign up using code HMA either over using the link on Larry's page or on my page. We both have the description. The link in our description.
We do have time. We can squeeze a lineup in here. We'll squeeze one right here. Here is our PrizePicks. We'll go NBA. NBA Finals, and let's see. Do we have we got it all up there. So what do you want to do here? NBA Finals. It's Spurs backs are to the wall. It's game 5. It's Saturday at 5:40 p.m.
There's nothing left to talk about. You see that Stephon Castle, 11.5 points?
Yeah.
Hammer that son of a bitch. That is.
I like the big Vic. I think Vic points, rebounds, assists over 34.5. I think he's going to have a monster night because I think this is it for him. I think he has one huge night, and I think the Knicks get the ring.
It's tomorrow, right? The Knicks play Saturday night.
It's Saturday night.
Yeah, they're not playing tonight. By the way, our Snap decision of the day, instead of waiting until my show at 11 to share it with you, Jacob Mizorowski, more than 5.5 strikeouts. Use the Goblin line to tease him down to 5.5. And that is the Snap decision of the day. the math in 100,000 simulations. He's taken care of that 93,000 plus times. All the numbers say that is the best play of the day over on PrizePicks. So that is going to be our snap decision of the day. I know that you're working a little NBA Finals right there. So what do we
Here
got?
it is. Our 4-pick power play. $5 pays $17.50. Stephon Castle has to have 12 points. Big Vic's got to have 35 points, rebounds, and assists combined. OG Anunoby's got to have 26 points, rebounds, and assists combined. And Jalen Brunson's got to have 25 points. If all of those things happen, our $5 becomes $17.50. Thank you to PrizePicks for being a proud sponsor.
Let's go.
Both of our shows, Wake Up and, of course, the Krueger Show. And let's put ourselves back there. All right, let's hit our supers right here, and we will bolt for the door. We got 10 of them, and we'll roll through them. Little underscore ass, little score,
little ass boys.
Boys. Love it here. It's Liddy. Did you hear when he mentioned Liddy?
No.
Oh, Brandon Aiyuk was like, man, you got a toy, but you don't know how to use it. And your friend picks it up and starts playing with it. And then you're like, man, that's Liddy. In other words, lit. Unbelievable. The lingo is awesome. Too much sauce. Brunson, best current American-born basketball player.
I mean, I don't know. Steph Curry's still out there.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't care how old he is.
What? Brunson?
Brunson's really good. He's having a great NBA Finals, but OG Anunoby is going to be named MVP with one more win here.
By the way, if you want to win the NBA Finals, the Warriors did it. How did they do it? Well, they took Draymond Green at 35 in round 2. The Knicks are about to win the Finals. How did they do it? They got Jalen Brunson at pick 33.
No, the Mavericks got Jalen Brunson at max.
Yeah. But I mean, the NBA missed on Draymond, and the NBA missed badly on Jalen Brunson. It's amazing.
Talk about the Denver Nuggets if you want the best second-round pick ever.
Who do you got? Jokic. Yeah, Jokic. I that's a great one. I mean, there have been some great ones too. I mean, Mo Cheeks, Gilbert Arenas, Cliff Robinson, Uncle Cliffy, and others. Jeff Hornacek. There's been some incredible second-round picks through time. Was John Stockton a second? No, he might have been a late first. All right, we got this one. Would y'all give Aiyuk a platform to vent if asked?
Sure.
Why not?
I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, you wanna come over here and bitch and complain over on the Krug Show? Bring it. Who cares? David Esger. Is that somehow make us, does that make us hypocrites? David Esger. Guys, can we get back to Aiyuk, please? Yeah, exactly.
I think that was joke. Yeah. Not enough conversation about that guy.
Fuji says, thanks for the morning show, even though you are an SI Wildcat. Boo, San Ignatius. Oh, come on. Don't boo us. Don't boo us. You hate us because you ain't us. SH, you're phony. We got the Bruce Mahoney. Or is he a Reardon guy? Is Fuji a Reardon guy or a SH guy? Do you remember?
I don't know. I am proximity. From a proximity standpoint, I'm a Reardon guy, but I did not go there.
David Esger. If the guard play substantially improves, the line will be better. I think it will. Okay.
I do too. I really do too. I think it covers up the hole in the middle that is their center, who's an underperformer. Brendel looks better with better guard play on either side of him.
I think Brendel stinks. Fuji says, so if the power substation, or is the power substation a store on, the power substation on story dead, or only on hiatus until some internet quack convinces players that exposure causes erectile dysfunction, LOL.
We are one pulled hamstring away from hearing about it.
You know what? The Niners have got to put up a bigger fence. I mean, to see that as the backdrop is just really bad. It's just bad. It looks bad. The optics, as they say, is bad. Fuji, $1 billion total value NFL quarterback contract coming soon.
I'll tell you, there's a big difference between $500 million and $1 billion.
We got to get through this. I want to see talking national NFL talking heads call out the Bears for leaving the state with the same energy for when the Niners left San Francisco, Florio and Cowherd. There's 9 teams. We don't have time for this. We have 9 teams, by the way, that don't play in a city that they're representing. Fuji Simeon, I have to ask, Sorsby being allowed to play by a Texas judge who may have ties to Texas Tech so jurisprudence will allow college players to gamble. Yeah,
It's
I mean, this
disgusting.
is really
It's
there's a lot
disgusting.
there.
It's disgusting. It's like slit your own throat. College football. The college football is going to go through this just so Brandon Sorsby can play at Texas Tech. That kid. Hey, I hope he gets better. Recovery. Yada yada yada. He doesn't deserve to ever play another snap of college football. He should never be in another huddle again.
I like how we're considering letting this guy play, and he's gambling, and yet before it was like, all kinds of little minor things would take you off the field, but gambling doesn't.
You had
Fuji Simeon
on your bagel,
balky voice. Larry, I'm a Reardon guy.
Guy.
There we go. All right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks to all of our sponsors. The links are in the description below. Thanks to all of you. Have a great rest of your Friday. Peace.